Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday. As always, I am your host, Casey Halpern, and I am thrilled to be joined by my colleague, my co-host, my friend, Ryan Borman. Ryan, how the hell are we doing? I'm battling a little technical difficulties getting this thing live, so 1 second. But how you doing?
No worries, no worries. I am doing good. How about yourself? It is absolutely freezing here, and we got this huge snowstorm coming, allegedly. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition, but all signs are pointing that way on Sunday, which makes for a fantastic Sunday of just sitting on the couch watching these championship games. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I am excited. Hopefully the games are good. Curious to see if it actually dumps as much snow as it says. I
Right.
feel like the weather people are a little bit off kilter these days, so who knows? But could be just big weather companies wanting us to stay inside. No, I'm kidding. But hopefully everyone stays safe, stays warm, and it's not as serious as it seems it might be. But yeah, two exciting games. Hopefully exciting. Well, one of them should have been a lot more exciting, but I guess we'll start with the first conference championship. Obviously, the Denver Broncos are hosting the New England Patriots. And folks, stop me if you heard this before, but the New England Patriots are once again back in the AFC Championship game. Those pesky Patriot fans have been yearning for this for a really long time. They've been waiting on pins and needles with bated breaths. They finally have their opportunity to potentially get to a Super Bowl. They really, really deserve it. It's so good to see such a scrappy upstart Patriots team return to the AFC title game. It's been so long. I mean, every AFC title game in the last 15 years has now featured either the Kansas City Chiefs or the New England Patriots, which is pretty remarkable.
You forgot to include that in the last 17 years, it's those two teams plus the New York Jets.
That's also true. That feels like a lifetime ago for the Jets.
I saw that and I was like, that was the first stat that I've seen in a long time that wasn't just directly making fun of the Jets. So I was like, you know what? It feels good to be on the right side of that comment, even though they snuck in the 17 years instead of 15. It's just kind of like a random who uses 17-year stretch for anything, basically.
It's yeah, it's been tough sledding, but hey, it's a true story. So don't
Yeah.
it's not even a lie. Give me 1 second. It is way too hot in my apartment. All right,
You're
now
good.
we're
Take your
ready.
time.
Now we're ready to go. All right, yeah. The Patriots once again they're back into the AFC title game. Obviously, the Denver Broncos absolutely crushing blow to them after a thrilling overtime win against the Buffalo Bills. And I'm pretty firm in my stance that absolutely was an interception. They were never overturning that, considering it was called an interception during the game. And if there was no defender there, he is not keeping possession of that ball, by the way. So let me clear that up. But it's brutal, man. Bo Nix breaking his ankle on that what was it, a QB run on that first down in Buffalo territory with the fourth play. It wasn't the second to last play when they centered it. It was the play two plays before that, I think, when he ran QB boot to the left side, breaking his ankle. Just a absolutely awful outcome after such a great game and great emotional overtime win. But we're going to get Jarrett Stidham now, who's making his first NFL start in over 2 years and just his fifth career start in the NFL. He's 1-3 in those starts, albeit they were on way worse teams than this current Denver Broncos iteration. But Ryan, we talked a lot about this prior to the wild card round. Quarterbacks making their first playoff start, they've struggled, and now he's making his first playoff start and his fifth career NFL start in the conference championship game. It's pretty wild. But what's also insane is I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the hypothetical line when Bo Nix was presumed fine was Broncos -2 at home against the Pats. I think that was the FanDuel look-ahead line, or I might be off a bit there, but Now it's all the way down to what? Broncos, I think it got up to 5.5 yesterday. I think it got bought back down to 4.5. And now it seems like it's 4.5 pretty much across the board. You could get 5.5 at ProfitX still. You could get 5 at Bet Rivers and Hard Rock as well at the moment. But a pretty crazy 7-8 point swing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go. You talked a lot, and just in general there. I'm gonna go back to like your beginning point. I'm in agreement in that game. That was an interception, as well. I definitely think it was interception. If he wasn't going to survive the ground on that catch without a defender to begin with, and then I think the two plays, the Devontae Adams play later that day was completely different, and a completely different situation. That I think they're both officiated correctly in my opinion as a fan, with no team in the fight. Joe Burrow actually came back to Twitter and tweeted that both plays were officiated correctly, which is pretty funny because he hasn't tweeted in a bunch of years. So that was point number one. Point number two, I don't know if you saw, there was like there was a viral tweet from some guy who had like a $10 parlay, and he was like screaming in all caps that he hopes Bo Nix breaks his ankle or something like that if he doesn't reach 30 yards, and then he actually broke his ankle and didn't reach 30 yards, and he had tweeted this prior to all this happening, which is just like an insane turn of events that I thought that was pretty funny. It was literally like a $10 bet to win like $100 or something. It wasn't even like anything completely outrageous.
I did see that. If you're one of those people also wishing harm on athletes or DMing athletes after their performances, like, get a fucking life. I mean, like, sorry to curse, but get a life by all means. Just go touch grass. Get in touch with reality. Like, don't gamble. It's not for you then.
But yeah, so now back to your third point, just talking briefly about the game. Like the hypothetical look headline was like 2 or 2.5. You're right. It's literally, I think or 1.5 or 2. Apologies. I think it's been like literally like a 6 or 7 point swing, and like I don't know, the conversation all going around right now. I personally took the Broncos at 5.5, and I'm probably gonna bite on them a little bit on the money line. But is the question, the big questions around here is Bo Nix a 7 point swing? Like, I don't even think there's like, I don't even think like when the Chiefs lost Mahomes I mean, I don't know what that number was to Minshew became like a 7 point swing, just from a betting standpoint. So like, is Bo Nix really worth that much with this current construction of the Denver team? My answer to that is no. I wish it got up to like 6 or 7, and then I could have, really would have went in on that. But I would say that at 5.5, I bit, and I think it's going to come back down game time. But I don't think Bo Nix is worth 7 points. I like Bo Nix too. I think we talked at the end of the year. I had a preseason MVP bet on him, and he's really looked the part of a quarterback that can carry that can be the Broncos quarterback moving forward. But
I'm not the biggest Bo Nix fan, but I got to give him his flowers. He played excellent against the Bills.
Yeah.
So absolutely just crushing that this is now happening to him. We're actually in agreement on this one. I did play the Broncos plus 5.5. I probably will play them again at 5 or at 4.5. We'll see how much exposure I truly want to them. I just make that number. That swing is a bit too big. And look, there are a lot worse quarterbacks than Jarrett Stidham in the NFL. Yeah. Jarrett Stidham was drafted in 2019. He's been in the league for quite a bit. He's only made 4 NFL starts, but when he has made those starts, he hasn't been like bottom of the barrel, like Brady Cook, Jake Luton type quarterbacks. Like he's been somewhat serviceable, like really middle of the pack, probably. So it's not like you're backing an undrafted free agent who is just being thrown into the fire. This was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, a heralded prospect. He was drafted by Bill Belichick and the Pats to potentially become Tom Brady's successor. And Sean Payton did hand him out the first contract on the first day of free agency. That was his first move with the Denver Broncos to sign Jarrett Stidham, which is quite interesting. So he's not just a schlub, right? Now that I'm saying this, he'll probably turn in a putrid performance. But I think I have a lot more trust in a backup like Jarrett Stidham than I would a lot of other backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
I think even
but,
go ahead.
No, go on.
I think even to like further your point, I think I also just have like a lot more trust in Sean Payton as a coach to
Right.
scheme up, like, I don't know if you call like the first 15 plays or first couple drives, to just scheme up easy plays for Stidham, and then just to find a way to game manage the rest of the way, that to potentially get them to a win. Like the Broncos have won plenty of games this year where Bo Nix has played poorly and has not had to be Superman, and their defense has carried them to victories. So I just really trust like him to scheme up an offense that will work for Stidham. And to your point, I don't think he's like a bad backup in the league either. So they've won games with barely anything from the offense. And the Patriots, not to go back to their their easy road or whatever, they're a great team against the spread this year. I think I actually was listening to something before, and I think they're 14-5 against the spread, like the best in the NFL this season. But on top of that, like the Patriots have had a bit of an easy road. I mean, last week it was a one-score game in the fourth quarter after CJ Stroud turned the ball over 5 times. Like the Texans were still in that game from their defense, even though their quarterback basically gave them no shot. So you really can't get worse of a performance, I don't think, from a turnover perspective than CJ Stroud had last week, and they still had a chance to potentially win that game. So if Denver has a defense that is not on par with the Texans, but one of the better defenses in the league, if they can keep them in the game, and instead of and Stidham doesn't turn the ball over 4 times, I think they have a real shot in this game, and I think they can absolutely keep it close. And the Patriots, Drake May hasn't looked like the Drake May against the Jets in the postseason thus far. So we'll see what Sean Payton schemes up this weekend. But I really do like this one to be a close one, and I think Denver could win this game because of how strong of a team they are.
I don't disagree. Look, it's going to take an incredible coaching job from Sean Payton here, which I think he is fully capable of. The Pats, they were a perfect 8-0 on the road this season, which is also pretty an impressive accomplishment in itself. Yeah, like I think they are live. I'm probably just going to play the spread because I'm a pansy, but I might sprinkle some money line. We'll see. But look, Sean Payton, he could scheme it up with the best of them. He's one of the best offensive minds in NFL history. Jarrett Stidham isn't just a total schlub. Again, he was the number 1 ranked quarterback coming out of high school in 2015. He was ranked higher than guys like Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Juwan Jennings. People forget he was a quarterback recruit before he turned into a wide receiver. So Jarrett Stidham, he has talent, right? He was drafted to become Tom Brady's successor. Obviously, that didn't work out. But Sean Payton did sign him on day 1 of free agency as his first big move when he became head coach of the Denver Broncos. So he clearly sees something there with Stiddy, as he calls him. So he's got that trust factor with him. So I'm going to take that shot. I'm going to trust Sean Payton to commandeer a really nice offensive game plan on Sunday with Stiddy at the helm. And I'm going to take the Denver Broncos getting plus 5.5 points at home in the AFC title game against the New England Patriots. Also, look, we know the Broncos defense is great. I think they're a bit more overrated than consensus, but they've got a fantastic front. And quite frankly, the New England Patriots haven't looked so great up front, especially Will Campbell, the 4th overall pick in this year's draft. Since he returned in Week 18 from his injury, he's been allowing pressures on 10% of his snaps, which ranks 87th out of 98 qualifying offensive tackles. And now he's going up against stud edge rusher Nick Bonito and that fierce Denver front. Like, this isn't an easy matchup by any stretch of the imagination, right? Just because the Broncos are down Bo Nix doesn't mean that the Patriots are just going to walk all over this Broncos team, especially when they're on offense. And look, Mile High, the altitude, it's a tough place to play, especially this late in the season. I haven't looked at the weather, honestly, for any of these games. I assume they're not going to be impacted by this snowstorm.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I haven't tracked the weather enough to know. I just know it's hitting us. That I haven't actually looked across the board. Now that you say it, I'm like, maybe we should take a peek at that to see. But I don't think it's going. I don't think it's going all the way out there, right?
I don't
Let's
think
see.
so.
Let's see weather in Denver Sunday. No, it looks like it's showing it's going to be cold, but it's showing that it's going to be sunny, mostly cloudy. So no storm like we're expecting on the East Coast. Now, if this was in New England, I'm sure there would be some weather playing a factor here.
If this was in New England, they might have had to move this game potentially.
They played that one in Buffalo a couple. What was that? Was that last year, 2 years ago with all the snow?
That was 2022. That was the year after the Bengals made the Super Bowl. Yeah, 2022. I guess technically it was 2023, 2022 season.
Yeah. So three years ago now.
Yeah, I just think it's a big. It's like a 6-7 point swing going from Bo Nix to Jarrett Stidham. I don't buy that.
Yeah,
I trust Stiddy, as Sean Payton calls him. Look, again, he's not some schlub off the couch. This guy was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. He was ranked higher than guys like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, Jawan Jennings. Was drafted to be Tom Brady's successor, and Sean Payton signed him on day one in his new Broncos tenure. So let's see if Jarrett Stidham can lead the Denver Broncos to the Super Bowl. I can't really stomach watching the Patriots again in the Super Bowl, if I'm being honest. Give us a break, man. You went from Tom Brady and now you have this cupcake schedule all season long. I know you play who's in front of you. But look, if the Texans had Stiddy last week, the Texans are in this game.
They could have switched to Davis Mills at half, and they might have been better off, man. Also, did you see CJ Stroud's comments after the game that too, where he was like, I don't have to be Superman anymore or something like that. He just had some weird comments after the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on there. I've seen some stuff that they're saying that people are talking about that the Texans should explore potentially trading him, that he's not really their guy.
I don't know how you can trust him to be your guy after kind of that.
Yeah, no, I know.
Quite frankly, every year since his rookie season, he's just kind of gotten a bit worse and worse. His rookie year season seems like an aberration now. But look, hopefully he can return to that form. He was incredible his rookie year. But I also do think he did miss, 3 games with a concussion. He was not the same since he returned. That I know. He wouldn't take off and run as much. He was scared to kind of get hit. Maybe that played a factor into it, right? It is a mental thing, a mental hurdle you have to obviously clear. But I don't know. He definitely looked like a completely different quarterback when he returned from that concussion. And we'll see what they do going forward. I don't think they'll get rid of him. I think that would be pretty foolish. He's on a cheap contract. They don't have to do anything with him right now. They could just exercise that 5th year and have him for 2 more years at the very least. I would not hand them an extension this offseason. That I will say. By no means is he deserving of a massive quarterback extension. I would let him kind of prove if he is the next 2 years and then go from there. But we'll see what happens.
I agree. I don't think they should panic, but I think he's going to play his way back into a contract if he wants it. But yeah.
But before we go on to the next game, the Rams Seahawks. Right now, the Broncos are +5. This is the largest home dog in a conference championship game since the Super Bowl merger in 1970, which is pretty wild. And as we discussed prior to our wild card show, Ryan, when the Panthers were getting 10+ points at home versus the Rams, home dogs of 4+ points are a perfect 9-0 against the spread in the last 50 years, which is a small sample size, but interesting.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure even in championship weekend, I think they're 4-0 historically as home dogs, just in general. So seemingly these home dogs, I know this is a bit of a different situation where they just lost their quarterback before the game, but it's definitely something to think about because they would have been favorites, right, going into this game. So it might be a little bit more of a unique situation. But like we've said, we don't know if we don't think that Bo Nix is worth those 6-7 points after a great performance against Buffalo. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe a little bit too much. And where me and you are both banking on that, so we're gonna have to see on Sunday. I think this is gonna be a good one.
I guess we're about
I'm
to.
seeing now too on Pickett that the Patriots are taking almost 91% of the money on the money line for this game, based on what they've got tracked, which is I'm sure everyone and their mother now has the Patriots in any of the parlays they're putting through on the weekend. The actual money percentage on the spread is a little bit more split. It's about 52% to 48%. So people are seemingly in agreement that are seemingly split on how they feel about this as well. But it is interesting that almost everyone is on the Patriots to win this one. I think the Broncos could be could get sneaky out right here. That's just I'll be on it a little bit. I'll have a little bit on it. So we'll see.
I think I agree with you, but honestly, I've gotten absolutely slaughtered this postseason.
Me too.
Just it hasn't been fun, and I've bet against the Patriots 2 weeks now. I took the Chargers in the wild card round. I took the Texans last week, and I'm on the Broncos this week. So hopefully, third time's a charm against this Patriots team that I don't think is worthy enough to be in the Super Bowl. But I guess we're going to see if that's the case on Sunday. That's why they play this game. But yeah, I'm on Stiddy and the Broncos as well. So this should be a fun one.
Well, I also bet against the Patriots a ton, and like I said, they're the best team against the spread so far this season. So maybe we'll just keep losing our money.
We shall
and have to deal with it.
I'm hoping the dogs are barking in Denver. Look,
I agree.
Largest home dog in a conference championship game since 1970. Hopefully they're barking. That's all we could ask for. Let's go to what I think is basically the Super Bowl. Rams Seahawks. I personally think whoever wins this game probably wins the Super Bowl. That could be a bit short-sighted of me, and I guess we'll dive into that more Super Bowl week, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I think these have been the two best teams in the NFL all season long, and I think the two matchups they've had already this season would tell you that. It's the third matchup between the two teams. The Rams won at home. The Seahawks won at home a few weeks ago, completing that absurd 30-14 comeback with 9 minutes to play. The spread is what? 2.5 at the moment?
2.5, yeah.
2.5 over under is what? 46 and a half.
46 and a half. Yeah, it went down a little.
I mean, I personally do not have a dog in this fight at the moment. I think I'll just be rooting for just a good game. I don't like either of these teams with a strong conviction enough to bet it. Maybe I'll look for that total if the over under keeps coming down. I would play that over, I think, but not an official play. But these are the two best teams in the NFL by my estimation all season long. The Rams, they are the first team in the Super Bowl era not to cover in both the wild card round and the divisional round, but still advance to the conference championship, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Huh. You don't see that.
You don't. The Rams are just good. I don't. Last week, after the Bears game, I don't want to say that they got a little unlucky, then a little lucky, but they found a way to win. Like, I think Sean McVay didn't do a great job with his decision making and coaching just kind of down the stretch there. And he went in the press conference and said they kind of won despite of me, and he's going to be better this week. I think they were running the ball way too much when they had the MVP at quarterback. Like, that decision before the 2-minute warning to run on 3rd and 10 and just let them use a timeout when the 2-minute warning was already there. Just a whole mismanaged situation. I have no idea why they didn't let Stafford just sling it and let him get them to the championship game. But regardless, I think he'll be better this week, and he's not going to let something like that happen again. But yeah, the Rams are just good. I mean, Devontae Adams is still seemingly like a little bit banged up. They're kind of force feeding Puka. But this should just be a good one. I saw it say too. It says in their all-time history against each other, the Seahawks are 29-28 against the Rams, and they've scored 1,223 points, and the Rams have scored 1,222 points. I mean these are just two. Both the games this season have been awesome, and I expect this one to also be awesome. I probably won't have a bet here either way. I think I'm going to be rooting for whoever wins this game to win the Super Bowl as well. It'd be nice to see Stafford get another one with an MVP, and also I'd be happy for Donald if he also gets one. So I don't know if I'll have a dog in the fight either. I just a lot of information there, and just this should be a good one. I hope, at least. I don't want it like the Seahawks against the 49ers last week, where they returned the kickoff and pretty much just coasted the rest of the game.
That was a fun one. I was on the Niners, and it actually never stood a chance.
Yeah, I bet the Niners live too while I was at the bar, and that was just a waste of money. I should have spent it on drinks instead.
You know what even made it worse? I was watching with my girlfriend and her friends, and her friend's boyfriend. And my girlfriend said, I said openly, I was like, all right, I'm on the 49ers in this one. And she just goes, why? I like the Seahawks. And I was like, okay. And then immediately Rashid Shaheed takes back the kick, literally like 30 seconds after she said that, and just starts laughing in my face and was basically like, I don't understand why you don't listen to me. And I just felt like such an even bigger schmuck. And that game was immediately over. And then obviously the ensuing drive on 4th and 1, that handoff to Kyle Juszczyk was an abominable call, where he obviously looked to pitch it to McCaffrey. That one was over before it actually started. So good on me for not listening to my girlfriend. I'm an absolute schmuck.
I was with my friend who is, for whatever reason, really hates Brock Purdy. So he was in my ear about how he's not a great quarterback either. And I don't really know if there's a whole lot he could have done in that one to begin with, but it didn't help that they were getting their shit rocked the entire game, basically. And they really tried to get Kyle Juszczyk involved, which they said they were going to when Kittle went down. But like some of the play, I think they like overdid it. Juszczyk had the fumble early too. Like it just, I don't know what the plan was there.
Everything about it was bad. Speaking of things that are over before they started, it looks like my golf bets are trending in that direction as well. Just at the
I forgot.
Well, that's on me. I bet on Will Zalatoris to win the American Express, despite this being his first full PGA Tour start since back surgery in mid-May. And despite the fact that this is a virtual putting contest, and he lost on average over a half a stroke putting in 2025. So I'm a fool, and my girlfriend will probably laugh in my face a bit more. But yeah, I hope this game is good. I really do. I think it is the Super Bowl. I'm just going to quickly look at FanDuel. I want to look at the look-ahead lines for the potential Super Bowl matchups. Curious here. I didn't look at these before.
I think I believe they're both. I think the Rams and the Seahawks, it doesn't matter. I think they're both 2.5 or 3.5 if the Patriots come out, and then between 7.5 and 8.5 on the Denver side, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 8.5 for if they face Denver, and 3.5 if they face the Pats. So basically
tells you they feel the same way about both these Rams or Seahawks teams.
Right. They are basically. It's basically the Rams and Seahawks are the same rated teams. It's a coin flip between them. The only reason the Seahawks are laying 2.5 points is because they're home. That's really it. So on a neutral site, it would be a pick 'em. History is not on the side here for the Rams for a multitude of reasons, but obviously past results are no guarantee of future performance. In the last 50 years, dome teams are 3-19 straight up and 5-17 against the spread when they play on the road in outdoor conference championship games. Just 3-19 straight up when a dome team goes on the road in a conference title game.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. The Rams seem to be a little bit what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know what you're looking for.
Neither do I.
Oh,
I'm blanking. Resistant or like not did not doesn't as necessarily apply to them because there was some stat last week against the Bears with them under like 20-degree weather or like dome teams under there too, and they got the job done as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, I mean, the Rams have the MVP and one of the best wide receivers in football on their side, so it's hard to deny that. And the other thing too is like, do we know about Sam Darnold's oblique injury? Like, if this turns into a shootout, what that looks like? He barely had to throw the ball on Saturday, so I feel like we didn't really get a good picture of what that injury was. And I'm sure they shot him up on whatever to make sure he had no pain during the game, but. I don't know. Some of these, if it does have to become a shootout, like what does that look like for the Seahawks? Does it bode well in the Rams' favor there if Sam Darnold is a little bit banged up?
it's a good point. He didn't have to do very much last week.
He threw like 12 times, like 100 yards.
Nothing. Also, I know the Seahawks did beat the Rams, I guess, a month ago now at this point. But Sam Darnold has absolutely struggled against this Rams defense the last 3 times he's played them. He has 8 turnovers in his 3 games. So Chris Shula and that defense, if they bring the heat, Sam Darnold might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he's seemingly going their DC Shula is seemingly going to be a head coach next year potentially too. So they've had them. They've had their number a little bit, the Rams defense.
Yeah, they've had Sammy D's number for sure. We'll see what happens. But if I had to pick, like if I had to bet on this, I would probably take the Rams with the points. I just don't know if I could lay close to a field goal with Sam Darnold in the NFC title game. I'm not there yet trusting him, especially in a game that he's probably going to have to make 3 or 4 throws that when it matters most. And I don't know if he's at 100%. But look, I don't know. I really don't. I don't have a strong enough conviction on either side to bet it. I will say that.
So. No, I agree. I think I would probably agree with you. I've always been in the camp of like the Seahawks have a good offense and they have an elite defense, and the Rams I think have a good defense and a pretty elite offense. And I've always been in the camp that elite offenses beat elite defenses, so that's the way I would probably lean to. I would lean with Stafford and the Rams. Just Stafford's been there before. The Rams have been there before. They have experience in this game, and I would assume that they're going to come out and kind of sling it. And Sam doesn't. But I mean, who knows? The Seahawks do have a good enough defense that it might not matter, and we haven't really seen a big game like this from Sam in his career. So maybe he just comes out and proves us all wrong, and they balls out and they get the win. Not proves us all wrong. Sorry, they're favorites. So, but I just we haven't seen it before. Shows us what he's capable of in a late season playoff game here.
That's it. Look, I have no ill will against Sam Darnold. I'm always rooting for him.
Either.
I just don't know if I trust him yet here. But
I agree.
It would be what a storyline it would be if Sam Darnold is facing the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl 7 years after he was seeing ghosts against them as the Jets starting quarterback. I mean, what a storyline that would be.
I know. Hopefully he doesn't see. If he gets there, hopefully he doesn't see him in the championship, because I don't want that storyline after the Super Bowl again.
I'm with you, but it would be so hilarious if Sam Darnold beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl for so many reasons. Jets Twitter might have a brain aneurysm if that happened.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, Sam with the Jets. I mean, I don't know why there's so much talk around the Jets let Sam Darnold go, like this and that. Like he played for 3 other teams after the Jets. Like it's not like this was he immediately left the Jets and won 14 games and was a very, very solid starter in the NFL. Like he didn't work out on the Panthers. He didn't work out on the 49ers, who arguably have the best system for a quarterback in all of the NFL. and then he won 14 games with KOC and Minnesota, I would argue that it's probably way worse that Minnesota let him walk than any bit of the Jets letting him walk. So I just don't know why that's such a big storyline, in my opinion. It's very weird to me that it
I'll
gets
tell you why.
strictly tied back to the Jets.
I'll tell you why. It's called Jets for clicks. They're an easy fan base to trigger.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why. It's just engagement baiting. That's truly it. There's no context. There's no nuance. It's like the Bob Sala revisionist history. How the PR Bob Sala tour has been.
Forgot about this. Yeah, it's great. He'll be a DC again in 3 years, and we'll be having the same conversation about Cam Ward now that he's the coach.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Look, people are the majority of the world is unable to have actual discourse and take into account actual context and comprehension and sophistication. It's very sad, but that's the reality. It's very easy to trigger a fan base, especially in New York one. Speaking of triggered fan bases, we don't have leans here, but let's hope we have two great games on Sunday. Speaking of triggered fan bases, we spoke about this in December when the New York Mets got rid of Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz. I came on here and said they would be just fine, and I was proven absolutely right because David Stearns has had an excellent offseason in the last week alone. So the New York Mets, they're for real. Their lineup is absolutely stacked. They just got Freddie Peralta to be their ace. They just signed Bo Bichette. They traded for Luis Robert, who had a great second half of the season last season. I like the Mets this year. I did bet them to win the World Series at 16-1 the other day. And now it's down to, I think, 13-1. Do I think they'll have a real shot? I don't know. It is the 40th anniversary of when they won their last World Series in 1986. But the Mets are for real. Yeah, I kind of like them this year.
They're good, man. It's definitely interesting that they lost as much as they did and are still now back in position. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties there for a second. It's as they lost as much as they did and kind of just replenished with all their needs. I mean, they lost the bidding war for Tucker, and they still found a way to replenish their outfield and then the rest of their infield and both bolster with bats and now go get a premium starter on top of it to compete this year. It just really is. It really is interesting, and like they put together a very good roster for this upcoming season. Despite all the changes that unfortunately went down for them.
Yeah, look, the only move I do not like for them is just losing out on Edwin Diaz just because he went to the Dodgers, and I just don't know if I'm trusting Devin Williams as his full-time replacement. But yeah, they've had a great offseason, one of the best in baseball, probably the best in baseball. On the other hand, the New York Yankees just decidingly gonna run it back, baby. They will look. They still have a great team. They have a very good lineup still. I expect probably 7 guys to maybe hit 20-plus home runs in that lineup. It's just not enough, in my opinion. Their bullpen has 0 depth at all. Their starting pitching rotation, yes, if they're all healthy, which is a big if and not happening, it has the chance to be one of the best in the MLB, but we all know how the modern-day baseball game works. Pitchers get injured left and right. You can't have enough pitching. It stinks that it seems like they're not going to be aggressive here and make some more acquisitions because they absolutely should, especially when it comes to the bullpen and bolster that starting rotation until you get Rodon and Cole back. And who knows how long it'll take them to get back to 100%. And do you trust them to go through the season, right, healthy? It's a big question mark. I would like to see them make another move, but I doubt we'll get it. You know my thoughts on Cody Bellinger. I'm just happy it's not 6-7 years, and hopefully he performs well in years 1 and 2 and just opts out after year 2, and that's it, right? We'll see what happens. But
Yeah, I will say, I know how you feel about Cody, and I didn't love it at first either. But looking at the contract details and it being very, very front loaded with, if he does play well, that the opt out is there after 2 years and the Yankees kind of get out of that contract. I changed my tune a little bit. I do think they kind of had to do that with how it went down.
they
Obviously,
backed
not our
themselves
first
into a
choice.
corner.
What's up?
They backed themselves into a corner.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, I'm not mad about like having, if we front load and pay for Bellinger for 2 years and he plays well for us, and that was one of the moves we made. They should have done more, but I initially was like completely out on Bellinger, and now I'm like kind of like I talked myself back into like that it's not a bad contract for us, but it is crazy that they're just running it directly back. They did have the best offense in baseball in the regular season last year. You can't really deny it, and they did have the starting rotation was there all season. Neither showed up in the playoffs for them at that point. So it feels a little bit insane that they're just running it back and hoping like we do the exact same thing and have the best offense in baseball, and then the results are just different come the postseason. That's the weird part. I don't know. It's hard to get excited about the exact same lineup and no shiny new pieces as a Yankees fan.
That's been the Yankees' MO for basically the last decade. That's it. They've just been running it back and hoping for different results, which is literally the definition of insanity. The only other time they didn't is when they missed the playoffs in 2023 and went out and traded for Juan Soto and proceeded to do absolutely nothing after that. And all they did was sign Marcus Stroman, who absolutely sucked. So that's just been the Yankees for the better part of the last decade, honestly. They just run it back. They think they're smarter than everyone else. They think the postseason's a crapshoot, and 1 year, it's all just going to go their way. That's basically their line of thinking, right? Just get to the postseason, see what happens. That's the New York Yankees line of thinking. They're smarter than every other team in baseball. That's their mentality, and it stinks. We'll see if it ever changes, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. Their team construction is just very interesting at the current moment. I don't know I don't know. I don't think they can we both don't think that they can win a World Series with the roster as is. I don't know what the heck they're gonna do. They've held on to some of these blue chip prospects and not made trades for star players in hopes that they would come up and be great. And now we have Dominguez, who's playing left field, who doesn't even look like a capable outfielder, and he was not movable. Volpe, who was not movable. They gave I mean, I was excited about both these guys, and the Yankees letting them get their run. And they didn't pan out, but it goes back to looks. You go back to then why don't we just start trading some of these younger prospects that we have for proven good MLB players and maximize Aaron Judge's current window, and just don't hope on this potential that we get good hitters through our system, because Aaron Judge is basically the only good hitter that's come through the system in the last 10 or 12 years. So it sucks. It really does. And they got to move one of them. I mean, and now you got to move. I would be shopping Dominguez, Spencer Jones, any of these guys that have value. If you could potentially get a big name to bring in, I don't even know. And I'm talking like I know what the market is. I have no idea that there could be no market.
I don't think they have much value. I would, to be honest, I would probably just keep both outfielders just for now, because injuries do happen, and like they don't have a center fielder past this season. I don't think they're going to commit to Trent Grisham for a long-term contract. But also, who the hell knows if there's even a baseball season next year? So we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, the New York Yankees have absolutely wasted Aaron Judge's prime. That much is true. They've done absolutely nothing to bolster the roster around him, aside from getting Juan Soto that one off season, and that's all they did, and that wasn't enough because it was just two guys versus 25 on the other side. That was it. We'll see what happens. Sucks to see, but that's the actual reality of the New York Yankees these days. So probably like the Seahawks Rams, I think that the Dodgers Mets inevitable NLCS will be the World Series.
It's insane that the Dodgers are like plus 225 to win the World Series in January. I mean, that's crazy. Like
But
It's insane. I mean, it rightfully there. I don't think it's like a bad number, but it's just insane. Also, like the Aaron Judge contract is looking like an insane value contract in baseball. To think that what was it when Hal didn't want to give him like the 8th year or a couple more $1 million, whatever that was a couple years ago. Like just why the thought that like that looking back on it is like how could you even have considered not doing that considering what he's making. Kyle Tucker's making $20 more million a year than Aaron Judge, and he's like a quarter of the baseball player.
absurd. It's great value now. We'll see if he how it ages. I'm a little weary of that part, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Look, hopefully, for Judge. Hopefully they prove us wrong. Hopefully they have a lot of success this year. Look, the AL stinks. Let's not kid ourselves. Obviously, I think the AL East is really good, but at the end of the day, is there truly a team that scares you to the point where the Yankees have no shot? No. The Yankees are just as good as any other team in the AL and probably the best team in the AL if they're healthy and whatnot, but that's never the case. We'll see what happens this year. Anything else before we go?
No, I'm just in agreement too. I do think that the AL East may be a little bit of a gauntlet. All the other teams have made some moves, but the Blue Jays just lost Bichette to the Mets too. So who knows? We have 4 good teams in the division, and I do think the Yankees are probably the best of the group, but that all is pending on injuries and what kind of happens during the season. We could have a couple guys regress and not look the same. I mean, if we get a regression from Bellinger and Grisham, we don't have a great outlook in the outfield there. So
no. And like that was a problem for me. Like Cody Bellinger, probably that's his ceiling last season, and like
he overperformed. Five WAR season. He his first one in like 8 years. Yeah. No, I agree.
We'll see what happens. Look, if 2017, 2019 Cody Bellinger are somewhere in that body, this season would be a good time to come out and show the world. Just resurrect those 2 years, please. But we'll see what happens. Pitchers and catchers reports in 2.5 weeks. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited for this weekend's games. Let's hope we get 2 good ones. Let's go Stiddy.
Yeah, come on, man. Do it one time. Don't let the Patriots back in the Super Bowl. Everywhere besides New England, I think, doesn't want to see that happening. The Boston area is the only place rooting for the Patriots.
Yeah. Oh, before we go, I have one more comment I want to make. More NFL owners need to have press conferences because they just speak whatever the hell comes to their mind, no matter how insane it is. I mean, what Terry Pagula said at that press conference the other day was tremendous content. And if that was just an anonymous quote, right, and you had to guess which NFL owner said it, I would say people would unanimously say it was Woody Johnson.
Yeah, I would agree.
We need more owner press conferences. That's all I'm going to say. It's just tremendous content, elite entertainment, because they don't have a muzzle. They just say whatever the hell comes to their mind, and it's just good TV. Like Steve Bisciotti's Ravens press conference last week was also great. Yeah. We need more of those. Get these guys in front of a microphone and in front of a camera more often.
Yeah, Bisciotti said that Harbaugh still would have been fired after one more week. The Bills owner just talked about how Keon Coleman's a bust, like it, all good stuff. Woody Johnson said Justin Fields can't throw. I mean, we've got some good owner quotes from this season. I do agree with you.
It's great content. I guess there is a massive reason why these dudes are never in front of cameras and microphones. Clearly, because they just spew whatever the hell comes to mind. I respect it. I will say that. I know he definitely was in the wrong in what he said, but I do respect it. That's all I'll say. All right. That's it for today. We'll chat next week. We'll maybe dive into some more golf since we'll have a week off from football before the last game, but 3 games left on the NFL calendar. Savor, folks. Carpe diem. Let's have some good ones this championship Sunday, and we'll see who plays in the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about it next week.
See you, everyone.